Sunrise at Amma's Ashram. The sounds of spiritual and religious music drift up from below as the wind flows across the rooftop here in the residence building. I only got about 4 hours of sleep last night, maybe 3 hours the night before. I'm very tired. Can barely string sentences together. It only makes me more in awe of Amma, who has been known to give hugs to her thousands of devotees here in the ashram for 22 hours in a row without a break. While I've been here, I've seen with my own eyes her darshan, or blessings, basically her hug sessions, start at 11 a.m. every day and often go well into the night, well past midnight, which is pretty amazing. Apparently she's given hugs to 20-something million people, or 30-something million people, more than the populations of entire countries. I wouldn't be surprised if she's hugged more people than any other human being ever has in the history of humanity. And I feel honored to be here at this ashram in her presence. Apparently she started this hugs thing when she was a kid.
Not so long ago, there was a little girl in a village in India. Each morning, her parents sent her to walk through the village, collecting vegetable peels for the family cows to eat. She visited more than 30 houses each day. In some houses, she saw that everyone was healthy and had enough to eat. But in the very next house, the people would be hungry and their jars empty. In the next house, someone was suffering from a serious disease and could not even afford a painkiller, let alone real medical treatment. In the next, someone was too old to take care of herself, with no one to look after her. And then there were the houses with thatched roofs, which leaked during the rainy season, when the entire family would be gathered inside, trying to take shelter under a single umbrella. Seeing all this little girl got angry at the world and angry at God. She got so angry about all the inequality and suffering in the world that she felt like hurling herself into a fire. But then she thought to herself, my death is not going to help anyone. People will continue to suffer, just as they always have. And then she thought, If it is one person's destiny to suffer, isn't it our responsibility to help them? With this simple yet profound conviction, that each of us has a responsibility to lend a helping hand to those less fortunate, this little girl moved forward with confidence in her life of service and compassionate care for all beings. She was just 9 years old, and people started calling her Amma, Mother.
To live a life for others, to try to help, to relieve that suffering. And she did that the only way that she knew how, by giving hugs. I think it's a really beautiful, beautiful thing. And through that, through those intentions of a 9-year-old girl, all of this has manifested.
After the tsunami struck, Amma's Amritapuri ashram became the center of the relief operations, despite the fact that the ashram itself was badly damaged by the floodwaters. Hundreds of volunteers provided free, immediate and temporary relief.
It's very striking because I've been involved with the United Nations, with non-governmental organizations, and first it's very difficult to get good delivery. Quality delivery of services to those in need, to those in distress, to those who support, to whom we're giving support, and to do it in a timely way is exceedingly difficult, especially in the middle of a massive disaster, massive emergency like the tsunami.
Amma founded an organization called Embracing the World, which has directed over $75 million and tens of thousands of volunteers to help the people who need it the most in 40 countries around the world. Through her organizations, Amma has accomplished so many massive things that I can't even begin to fit them all into this video.
Amma visited some of the worst hit areas in Tamil Nadu, where over 7,000 people were killed, and individually consoled each person who came to meet her.
The MA Mart distributed over 185 tons of rice and other provisions over the next few months.
In reality, the actual worth of relief provided is much greater than its face value, since most of the labor and services are provided free of charge by thousands of volunteers from all over the world.
Due to the almost unbelievable multitude of demands on Amma's time, it wasn't possible for me to get an interview with her during my stay at the ashram. I was, however, able to wrangle an interview with one of her senior disciples, Brother Shubhamrita. Shubhamrita, he is one of Amma's senior disciples. Been with Amma for 20-something years.
Amma's message to humanity is to awaken to their true self and to realize who they are in reality. We think we are just this limited individual, but in reality we are much more than that. We are not only a drop in the ocean, we are also the ocean in the drop. That in reality is also the purpose of life, because then you experience true freedom. All the boundaries that you have, that you feel are limiting you, they just kind of wane away, and you are able to be in that state of happiness and bliss all the time. When you get closer to your true self, automatically you start becoming loving and compassionate, because as you get closer to who you are in reality, you see yourself in everybody. And when you see yourself in everybody, You cannot do anything else but love and serve. So this compassion that we see from Amma, that is flowing boundlessly, it comes from that vision of oneness, where she doesn't see anybody as separate from her, and that keeps just flowing and flowing without a stop.
Shubha Amrita, how did you end up as one of Amma's senior disciples here at the ashram?
Well, to be very frank, I was not that interested in spirituality before I met Amma. I was a normal teenager living in Mumbai. And at this time I had an opportunity to see Amma. She was visiting one of my relatives' house. And I had to be there as a family obligation, to kind of appease my uncle. And that's where I met Amma. My first meeting with Amma was very powerful. And I would say that it changed a lot in me. I really felt she's somebody who is walking her talk. And she's not just talking about values, she is kind of living those values. She's talking about love, she's giving love to each and every person. She's talking about compassion. It is clearly seen through all her humanitarian projects. She's talking about patience. She's there every day, 20 hours, meeting people, who can be more patient than that. So I could really see in Amma that she's somebody who's really walking her talk, who's putting all these ideals, these values into action. And that was very, very inspiring for me. And it kind of gave me a very clear idea of what I am here for and what I should really be using this precious gift of human life for. And yes, I feel so very blessed that I have this opportunity to be with her and also to serve her in my own little way.